1. We're taking a look at a 1979 Chevrolet C10 Suburban that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $6,150 for this classic SUV, which has clocked 100,650 miles over its lifetime. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 cubic inch V8 engine, paired with a 350 automatic transmission, a tried-and-true combination that should provide reliable performance. The seller mentions that the engine runs well and that the vehicle has recently received a new exhaust system, which is always a plus. The exterior of this C10 is finished in a gold color, while the interior color is not specified. However, the seller does note that the Suburban is very solid and original, suggesting that it has been well maintained over the years. According to the seller, this vehicle has a clean title and no significant damage or problems to report. This is great news for potential buyers, as it indicates that the Suburban has been properly cared for and hasn't been involved in any major accidents. It's important to note that while the seller seems sincere in their description, it's always a good idea to personally inspect the vehicle and verify its condition before making a purchase. Additionally, keep in mind that this is a 44-year-old vehicle, so some wear and tear is to be expected. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet Suburban with a strong engine and a solid body, this 1979 C10 located in Chickasha might be worth checking out. Just be sure to do your due diligence and thoroughly inspect the vehicle before making a decision. 2. We're taking a closer look at a 1982 Chevrolet El Camino that's up for grabs on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $15,500 or best offer for this classic muscle car, which has driven 110,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 6.0-liter LS engine paired with a 4L60E automatic transmission. This modern engine swap is sure to provide a significant boost in performance compared to the original power plant. The exterior of this El Camino is finished in a sleek gray color, while the interior has been completely redone in black. The seller mentions that the interior is brand new, which is a major plus for potential buyers. In addition to the interior upgrades, this El Camino also sports a set of new 24-inch rims, giving it an aggressive and updated look. The dual exhaust system is another nice touch, adding to the car's overall appeal. The seller notes that the vehicle is paid off and that they are not interested in any trades. They also emphasize that only serious inquiries should be made, suggesting that they are firm on their asking price. While the seller's description seems sincere and the upgrades are certainly impressive, it's always important to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and verify its condition before making a purchase. This is especially true when dealing with a modified classic car like this El Camino. Overall, if you're in the market for a unique and powerful classic muscle car with modern upgrades, this 1982 Chevrolet El Camino might be worth considering. Just be sure to do your due diligence and carefully evaluate the vehicle before making an offer. 3. We're taking a look at a 1978 Dodge Power Wagon that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $12,000 for this classic truck, which has only driven 50,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a rebuilt 360 cubic inch engine that the seller says runs well. The truck also features air conditioning, power steering, and power brakes, which are all great creature comforts to have in a classic vehicle. The exterior of this Power Wagon is finished in a bright yellow color, while the interior is done in black. The seller mentions that the truck has had 2 owners in total, which is relatively low for a vehicle of this age. One important thing to note is that the seller states the truck has been in a shed for the past 10 years. While they mention getting it out and tuning it up, potential buyers should be aware that prolonged storage can sometimes lead to issues that may not be immediately apparent. It's crucial to thoroughly inspect the vehicle and take it for a test drive to ensure everything is in proper working order. The seller also mentions that the vehicle is paid off, which is always a plus. The truck is located in central Kansas, so keep that in mind if you're considering making a purchase. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Dodge Power Wagon with low mileage and some desirable features, this 1978 model might be worth checking out. Just be sure to do your due diligence and carefully inspect the vehicle, paying special attention to any potential issues that may have arisen from its time in storage. If everything checks out, this could be a great opportunity to own a piece of American truck history. 4. We're taking a closer look at a 1985 Chevrolet C10 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $12,000 cash for this classic pickup truck, which has driven 100,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 cubic inch engine paired with an automatic transmission that includes overdrive. The seller notes that the truck runs and drives great, which is always a good sign for a vehicle of this age. The exterior of this C10 is finished in a blue color, while the interior is done in black. The seller mentions that there is no rust on the truck, which is a major plus for any classic vehicle. Rust can be a significant problem for older trucks, so it's great to hear that this one is rust-free. It's important to note that the seller does mention a couple of potential drawbacks. The truck does not have air conditioning, which could be an issue for some buyers, especially those in hotter climates. Additionally, the seller is firm on their asking price of $12,000 cash and is not interested in any trades. The seller also states that they have a video of the truck that they can send to interested parties. This is a great way for potential buyers to get a better sense of the vehicle's condition and how it runs before making the trip to see it in person. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet C10 with a strong engine and no rust, this 1985 model might be worth considering. Just be aware of the lack of air conditioning and the seller's firm asking price. If you're serious about purchasing the truck, the seller is willing to allow a test drive as long as you have cash in hand. As always, be sure to thoroughly inspect the vehicle and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. 5. We're taking a look at a 1981 Ford F100 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $8,000 or best offer for this classic pickup truck, which has driven 93,000 miles. The seller has been using this F100 as their daily driver for the past year and has put a lot of work into it. They mention that the engine is bulletproof, which is a great sign for potential buyers. However, due to a job change, the seller is in need of a more reliable daily driver and has decided to part ways with this project truck. The exterior of this F100 is finished in a tan color, while the interior is done in brown. The seller notes that there is very little rust on the truck, which is always a plus for a vehicle of this age. The seller has made a number of improvements and repairs to the truck, including a new carburetor, alternator, brake system, rotors, battery, starter solenoid, coolant hose, and more. They've also replaced all the fluids, spark plugs, and timing belts. The AC and heater are said to be working as well. It's important to note that while the seller has done a lot of work on the truck, they estimate that it would take an additional $3,000 to $4,000 to finish the build. This is something potential buyers should keep in mind when considering the asking price. The truck comes with a clean title and is registered until next year, so it's fully legal to drive. The seller emphasizes that they've done all the hard work, and now it's up to the next owner to finish the build. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Ford F100 with a strong engine and a solid foundation for a project, this 1981 model might be worth considering. Just be aware that it will require some additional investment to fully complete the build. As always, be sure to thoroughly inspect the vehicle and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. 6. We're taking a closer look at a 1978 Chevrolet El Camino that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $13,000 or best offer for this unique classic car, which has driven just 74,800 miles. This El Camino has undergone some interesting modifications, including an 85 front clip and an 86 Monte Carlo SS interior. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 cubic inch small block Chevy engine paired with a 350 turbo transmission, which should provide plenty of power for this classic ride. The exterior of this El Camino is finished in a striking purple color, while the interior is done in gray. The seller has recently installed brand new American thrust wheels with new tires, giving the car a great stance and improved handling. In addition to the cosmetic upgrades, the seller has also made a number of mechanical improvements, including a new starter, intake, carburetor, distributor, fuel regulator, fuel pump, and more. The car has also recently received a tune-up and oil change, ensuring that it's running in top form. The seller notes that this El Camino is a daily driver and is insured as a driving show car. While it may not be perfect, it does have power windows, power locks, and working heat and air conditioning, which are all great features to have in a classic car. It's important to note that the seller is firm on their asking price and is not interested in lowball offers. They also mention that they don't need help selling the car, so potential buyers should be serious about their inquiries. Overall, if you're in the market for a unique and eye-catching classic car with some great modifications and mechanical upgrades, this 1978 Chevrolet El Camino might be worth considering. Just be sure to thoroughly inspect the vehicle and take it for a test drive before making a final decision, and respect the seller's wishes regarding pricing and inquiries. 7. We're taking a look at a 1968 Chevrolet C10 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $8,500 for this classic pickup truck that has undergone some significant upgrades. One of the most notable modifications is the LS engine swap. The truck now features a 5.3-liter LS engine paired with a 4L60 automatic transmission, which should provide a great balance of power and reliability. The seller has also upgraded the steering to power steering, making the truck easier to handle. The exterior of this C10 is finished in a gray color, while the interior is done in black. The seller mentions that the carpet and weather stripping are new, which is a great sign for a vehicle of this age. They've also installed a new master cylinder, front brakes, battery and exhaust system, ensuring that the truck is running in top form. It's important to note that while the truck has been redone at some point, the seller does mention that there are some rust spots present. They also suggest that a new hood might be a better option than trying to fix the current one. Potential buyers should keep this in mind when considering the asking price and factor in any additional costs for repairs or replacements. The seller states that the vehicle has a clean title and no significant damage or problems, which is always a good sign. However, they do list the overall condition as fair, so it's important to thoroughly inspect the truck in person to get a better sense of its true condition. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet C10 with some modern upgrades and a strong engine, this 1968 model might be worth considering. Just be aware of the potential rust issues and the need for a new hood, and factor those costs into your decision. As always, be sure to take the truck for a test drive and have it inspected by a professional before making a final purchase. 8. We're taking a closer look at a 1969 Chevrolet classic truck that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $19,000 for this long bed pickup, which has driven just 75,492 miles. The seller states that this '69 Chevy is in excellent shape and mechanical condition, which is impressive for a vehicle that's over 50 years old. They mention that the truck starts right up and is ready to drive anywhere, which is a great sign for potential buyers. The exterior of this classic truck is finished in a green color, while the interior is done in black. The seller notes that the vehicle has had just 2 owners in its lifetime, which is relatively low for a truck of this age. One of the most appealing aspects of this listing is that the seller states the vehicle has a clean title and no significant damage or problems. This is always a major plus when considering a classic vehicle, as it can be difficult to find one in such good condition. The seller is firm on their asking price of $19,000 and is not interested in any trades. They're willing to accept cash in hand or walk with the buyer into their bank for a cashier's check, which shows that they're serious about the sale and want to ensure a smooth transaction. It's important to note that while the seller's description is very positive, it's always a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. This will give you a better sense of the truck's true condition and help you determine if it's the right fit for you. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet truck in excellent condition with low mileage and a clean title, this 1969 long bed might be worth considering. Just be prepared to pay the asking price, as the seller seems firm on their valuation. As always, do your due diligence and carefully inspect the vehicle before making a purchase. 9. We're taking a look at a 1984 Chevrolet 3500 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $5,500 or best offer for this 1-ton, 12-foot flatbed truck with two-wheel drive, which has driven 96,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a newer 350 crate motor, which is a great upgrade for a truck of this age. The 4-speed manual transmission was also rebuilt about 5,000 miles ago, ensuring that the drivetrain is in good working order. The exterior of this Chevy 3500 is finished in a blue color, though the seller doesn't mention the specific shade. The interior color is not specified in the listing. The seller notes that this truck used to be their daily driver and runs great, which is a good sign for potential buyers. However, they also mentioned that they don't drive it often enough anymore, which has led to an issue with the rear passenger drum brake being locked up. This is something that potential buyers should keep in mind and factor into their decision-making process. On the plus side, the seller states that the vehicle has a clean and clear title and no significant damage or problems. This is always a good thing to hear when considering a used vehicle, especially one that's nearly 40 years old. The seller is open to questions from potential buyers and has provided a few key details about the truck's history and condition. They're asking $5,500 or best offer, which seems like a fair price for a truck with a newer engine, rebuilt transmission, and clean title. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet 1-ton flatbed truck with some nice upgrades, this 1984 model might be worth considering. Just be aware of the potential brake issue and factor that into your decision. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final purchase. 10. We're taking a closer look at a 1972 Chevrolet 1500 long bed truck that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $12,000 for this classic pickup, which has driven 100,000 miles. The seller has put a lot of work into this truck, both inside and out. The interior features a new steering column, steering wheel, gauge cluster, carpet and door seals, giving it a fresh and updated look. The exterior of the truck is finished in a sleek black color, which is complemented by the black interior. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 cubic inch small block Chevy motor that has been gone through with all new gaskets from top to bottom. The seller has also installed a new timing chain, water pump, alternator, starter, and fuel pump, ensuring that the engine is running in top form. The truck also features a vintage air kit for cold air in the summer, which is a great addition for those hot days. The seller has also installed a new wiring harness from front to back, as well as a new radiator and electric fans. The front windshield has also been replaced, which is a big plus for a truck of this age. The seller notes that the truck is very straight all around and would make a good little shop truck for somebody. They also mention that it doesn't need much to finish, which suggests that it's a solid foundation for a project or a daily driver. It's important to note that the seller is firm on their asking price and is not interested in lowball offers. They state that they know what they have, which suggests that they've put a lot of time and effort into this truck and are confident in its value. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet long bed truck with a strong engine and a lot of recent upgrades, this 1972 model might be worth considering. Just be prepared to pay the asking price, as the seller seems firm on their valuation. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. 11. We're taking a look at a 1980 Chevrolet Blazer K5 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $7,000 for this classic SUV, which has driven just 65,000 miles. This Blazer is a 404 model that has been lifted, giving it a more aggressive stance and improved off-road capabilities. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 cubic inch engine that the seller says starts right away and runs well, which is a great sign for a vehicle of this age. The exterior of this K5 is finished in a blue color, which is complemented by a matching blue interior. The seller mentions that there is no rust on the vehicle, which is always a big plus for a classic SUV like this. However, it's important to note that the seller does mention a few issues with the Blazer. The back windshield needs to be replaced, which the seller estimates will cost around $250, Additionally, 2 of the door panels need to be rewired in order to get all of the windows rolling properly. These are relatively minor issues, but they are something that potential buyers should keep in mind and factor into their decision-making process. On the plus side, the seller notes that this Blazer is a fun drive with the top off, which is a great feature for those who enjoy open-air motoring. They also mention that there is no rust on the vehicle, which is a testament to its overall condition and the care that has been put into maintaining it. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet Blazer K5 with a strong engine, 4x4 capabilities, and a fun open-air driving experience, this 1980 model might be worth considering. Just be aware of the minor issues with the back windshield and door panel wiring, and factor those into your decision. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final purchase. 12. We're taking a closer look at a 1983 GMC Caballero that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $13,500 for this classic car, which has driven just 58,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a 350 cubic inch motor paired with a transmission that has a shift kit installed. The seller has put a lot of work into this Caballero, both inside and out. The interior features brand new upholstery and weather seals, giving it a fresh and updated look. The exterior has also been upgraded with brand new headlights and taillights, as well as a fresh coat of charcoal paint that the seller describes as nice. One of the standout features of this Caballero is the Dakota Digital Dash, which gives the interior a modern and high-tech feel. The seller has also installed brand new rally wheels, which add to the car's sporty and aggressive look. The bed has been freshly sprayed with bed liner, ensuring that it's protected from scratches and dings. The seller mentions that the car comes with a brand new exhaust system from the header's back, which should give it a great sound and improved performance. They also note that the car comes with subwoofers, if the buyer is interested in a more powerful audio system. It's worth noting that this Caballero has had just 2 owners in its lifetime, which is relatively low for a car that's nearly 40 years old. The seller also states that the vehicle is paid off, which is always a plus. The seller is primarily interested in a cash deal, but they are willing to consider trades plus cash. They don't specify what kind of trades they're looking for, but they do mention that they're open to offers. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic GMC Caballero with a strong engine, updated interior and exterior, and some modern upgrades like a digital dash and subwoofers, this 1983 model might be worth considering. Just be prepared to pay the asking price or negotiate a trade plus cash deal. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. 13. We're taking a look at a stunning 1974 Ford F100 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $9,500 for this classic pickup truck, which has driven just 98,000 miles. The seller describes this F100 as eye candy, and it's easy to see why. The exterior is finished in a vibrant red color that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. The interior is also done in red, giving the truck a cohesive and stylish look. The seller mentions that the truck comes with carpet and weather stripping, which is a great addition for a vehicle of this age. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 390 cubic inch engine paired with a C6 automatic transmission. The seller notes that this F100 is a daily driver, which is a testament to its reliability and overall condition. The truck also features centerline wheels, which add to its sporty and aggressive look. One of the most impressive aspects of this F100 is its low mileage. The seller purchased the truck from the original owner when it had just 66,000 miles on the odometer. Since then, they've put an additional 32,000 miles on it, bringing the total to 98,000. This is relatively low for a truck that's nearly 50 years old. The seller has also made a number of recent upgrades to the truck, including a new battery, alternator, water pump, radiator, tune-up, brakes, and tires. This suggests that the truck has been well maintained and is in good mechanical condition. It's worth noting that the seller is open to offers, but they state that the least they would consider is $9,000 with cash in hand. This shows that they're firm on their asking price and are looking for serious buyers. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Ford F-100 with low mileage, a powerful engine, and a stunning red exterior and interior, this 1974 model might be worth considering. Just be prepared to pay close to the asking price, as the seller seems firm on their valuation. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. 14. We're taking a closer look at a truly unique 1985 GMC S15 Jimmy that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $18,000 for this classic SUV, which has driven just 65,150 miles. What makes this Jimmy so special is the engine swap. Under the hood, you'll find a 1985 L98 Corvette 350 engine paired with a 700 R4 overdrive transmission. This powerful combination is sure to make this Jimmy a blast to drive. The engine has been upgraded with an Edelbrock Performer EPS intake, a Holley Brawler 650 vacuum secondary carburetor, and an HEI distributor. The seller has also installed dual electric fans to keep everything running cool. The interior of this Jimmy is finished in a striking red color and features a tilt steering wheel with an early 70s Camaro Chevelle 4-spoke wheel. The exterior is done in a clean white color and sits on a set of 17-inch US Mags wheels, giving it a sporty and aggressive look. The seller has recently made a number of upgrades to this Jimmy, including installing a new 20-gallon fuel tank and sender, a Holley HP 125 electric fuel pump, and an Optima battery. The engine swap was done using a trans-DAP kit for the mounts, and the engine features a 7-quart pan and Hedman headers. The exhaust is a dual setup that runs over the rear axle. It's worth noting that the seller describes the condition of this Jimmy as excellent, which is impressive for a vehicle that's nearly 40 years old. This suggests that it has been well maintained and cared for over the years. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic GMC S15 Jimmy with a powerful Corvette engine swap, upgraded interior and exterior, and a number of recent mechanical improvements, this 1985 model might be worth considering. Just be prepared to pay the asking price, as the seller seems confident in the value of this unique SUV. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. 15. We're taking a look at a 1985 Dodge D150 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $3,500 or best offer for this classic pickup truck, which has driven 80,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a 3-18 cubic inch V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. The seller notes that the engine runs, which is always a good sign for a vehicle of this age. The exterior of this D150 is finished in a blue color, while the interior is done in red. The seller mentions that the interior is in good condition, which is a plus for a truck that's nearly 40 years old. One thing to note is that the seller has new tires that go with the truck, but they are not currently mounted. The seller states that they didn't want to mount the new tires and then have the truck sit, which is understandable. However, this means that the buyer will need to tow the truck, as it cannot be driven without the new tires. The seller does mention that if they mount the tires, the price of the truck will go up. The seller has a clean title in hand for this D150, which is always a good thing to see when buying a used vehicle. They also mention that the truck has had 3 or more owners over its lifetime, which is not uncommon for a vehicle of this age. It's clear from the seller's description that they had plans for this truck, but simply don't have the time to work on it due to their busy schedule. They mention going to school, volunteering at the fire department, and working 50 hours a week, which leaves little time for a project truck. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Dodge D150 with a strong V8 engine and a good interior, this 1985 model might be worth considering. Just be aware that you'll need to tow the truck and either mount the new tires yourself or negotiate with the seller to have them mounted before pickup. The seller seems open to offers, so there may be some room for negotiation on the price. As always, it's a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle in person and take it for a test drive once the tires are mounted, before making a final decision. 16. We're taking a closer look at a stunning 1956 GMC 1500 that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $15,000 for this classic pickup truck, which has driven just 10,000 miles since undergoing a significant engine and transmission upgrade. The most notable feature of this 1956 GMC is the modern engine swap. Under the hood, you'll find a 5.3-liter LS V8 engine from a 2008 Vortex system. This powerful and reliable engine is paired with a matching transmission, bringing this classic truck into the 21st century in terms of performance and drivability. The exterior of this GMC is finished in a sleek black color, giving it a timeless and aggressive look. The interior is also done in black, providing a clean and cohesive appearance throughout the vehicle. The seller mentions that this 1500 is a short bed model, which is a desirable configuration for many classic truck enthusiasts. Short bed trucks are often easier to maneuver and park than their long bed counterparts, making them a popular choice for daily drivers and weekend cruisers alike. It's important to note that the seller states the vehicle has a clean title and no significant damage or problems. This is always a good sign when purchasing a classic vehicle, as it suggests that the truck has been well maintained and cared for over the years. While the listing doesn't provide extensive details about the condition of the body, chassis, or interior, the low mileage and clean title are promising indicators. However, as with any classic vehicle purchase, it's always a good idea to thoroughly inspect the truck in person and take it for a test drive before making a final decision. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic GMC pickup with a modern engine swap and a clean title, this 1956 1500 might be worth considering. The powerful 5.3-liter LS V8 engine and matching transmission make this truck a compelling choice for those who want the style of a classic with the performance and reliability of a modern vehicle. Just be prepared to pay the asking price of $15,000, as the seller seems confident in the value of this unique and well-executed build. 17. We're taking a look at a 1970 Chevrolet El Camino that's currently for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The seller is asking $15,000 for this classic muscle car, which has driven 98,000 miles. Under the hood, you'll find a 400 cubic inch small block engine with a small cam, paired with an automatic transmission. The seller has made some notable upgrades to the engine, including a new brawler carburetor, an air gap intake, and a new dual exhaust system. These modifications should provide a nice boost in performance and give the El Camino a great sound. The exterior of this El Camino is finished in a vibrant red color, while the interior is done in black. The seller mentions that the car has newer tires and a disc brake front end, which should improve the driving experience and provide better stopping power. According to the seller, this El Camino runs and rides well, which is a good sign for a vehicle that's over 50 years old. However, they do mention that the fuel gauge doesn't work, which is something to keep in mind if you're considering making a purchase. It's worth noting that the seller is open to trades, specifically for an old Chevy truck. If you don't have a truck to trade, they are asking $20,000 or best offer for the El Camino. This price seems a bit high compared to the initial asking price of $15,000, so it's unclear if this is a typo or if the seller is flexible on the price. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller's description is fairly brief and doesn't provide a lot of details about the overall condition of the vehicle. While the engine upgrades and newer tires are definitely positives, it's important to thoroughly inspect the car in person to get a better sense of its condition. Look for any signs of rust, damage, or other issues that may need to be addressed. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Chevrolet El Camino with some performance upgrades, this 1970 model might be worth checking out. Just be sure to clarify the asking price with the seller and thoroughly inspect the vehicle before making a decision. And if you have an old Chevy truck sitting around, you might be able to work out a trade deal. 18. Let me tell you about this interesting 1973 Dodge D200 camper special I found on Marketplace for $6,000. Let's be completely honest here. This truck shows its age and has clearly been sitting for quite a while. but there are some intriguing aspects to consider. First off, there's a bit of confusion in the listing. It was initially labeled as a D250, but the title confirms it's actually a D200 Camper Special, which is pretty cool since these were specifically designed to handle camper units. The most surprising part? This old-timer has only 46,000 miles on the clock. While that might raise some eyebrows, the seller is pretty upfront about it being the actual mileage. The red exterior has definitely seen better days. But here's the good news. The engine apparently fires right up without hassle, which is impressive for a 50-year-old vehicle. It's running an automatic transmission and has a gasoline engine, which is typical for these models. The seller seems pretty flexible with the price and is willing to provide more information, which is always a good sign. While it's not a show-ready vehicle by any means, with some TLC, this could be an interesting project truck, especially given its camper special designation and surprisingly low mileage. Just keep in mind, you'd be taking on a vehicle that's been stationary for a while, so there might be some hidden issues to address. 19. Let me tell you about this 1983 Chevy 1500 short bed that's currently listed for $14,000. I've got to say, this one's pretty interesting because it looks like someone's put a lot of recent work into it. Let's break it down honestly. The truck's got 143,000 miles on it, but here's the kicker. It's running a brand new 305 crate motor paired with a solid 350 turbo transmission. The seller's really detailed about all the new parts, which is refreshing to see. We're talking fresh wheels and tires, a complete brake system overhaul, new suspension components including drop springs and shocks, and even a new dash pad. What makes this truck stand out is that it's pretty well equipped for an 83 model. Factory AC, power steering, power windows and locks, tilt wheel and disc brakes. The blue exterior is complemented by a black interior, and they've added tinted windows for a more modern look. The Posey 10-bolt rear end is a nice feature for better traction. Being sold at a dealership in Joplin, Missouri suggests this isn't just some backyard project. It appears to be a properly refurbished vehicle. The $14,000 price tag reflects all the recent work and upgrades, though you'll want to verify all these improvements in person. While it's not a bargain basement price for an 83 Chevy, the list of new components and the apparent quality of the build might justify the asking price for the right buyer. Remember, this is a 40-year-old truck, so despite all the new parts, you're still buying a classic vehicle that will need proper maintenance and care. But if everything checks out as described, this could be a solid, well-sorted classic truck that's ready to hit the road. 20. Let's talk about this 1985 Dodge D150 that's up for grabs at $3,500. I'm going to be completely straight with you about this one. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. The truck currently needs to be towed because it doesn't have its tires mounted. The seller is including new tires with the sale, but they're not on the truck yet. That's both a red flag and an opportunity, depending on how you look at it. The truck packs a 318 V8 with an automatic transmission, and the seller claims it runs, which is positive. With 80,000 miles showing, that's relatively low for a truck of this age. The blue exterior pairs with a red interior, which is an interesting color combination from the 80s. Now here's where we need to be realistic. While the seller states there are no significant problems, the fact that it needs to be towed suggests it's been sitting for a while. Any vehicle that's been sitting typically needs some attention before it's roadworthy again, regardless of what the seller claims. The price at $3,500 seems fair, considering you're getting new tires included, but remember, you'll need to factor in the towing cost and likely some revival maintenance. The seller seems honest about their situation. They're too busy with work, school, and firefighting to complete their plans for the truck. This could be a decent project for someone willing to put in some initial work, but don't expect to drive it home the day you buy it. It's a classic Dodge with potential, but be prepared for some immediate investment of time and money to get it roadworthy.